I was recalling an evening that I had of a reunion of college friends. And there was music, there was dancing, and we had all gone out on the patio because the music was so loud we wanted to go outside and talk and get caught up. And in my conversations with people, what I was finding is that about 80% of them were not happy. They were not satisfied with their life and where they were. And they had their first house and their second house and their first spouse and their second spouse. And they had pretty much everything. A lot of them were successful in their careers by what anyone would look at. And I know, have any of you been to a college reunion or high school, or even family reunions are even more curious than that sometimes, huh? And anyone ever been to a reunion? Yeah. So, yes. So as I talked with my friends, they said, I think I'm wasting my life, and my life's about half over. And I was figuring out there was probably about 20% of them that were really feeling fulfilled and satisfied. And of those that were satisfied, they'd just taken classes in college mainly for fun. They took art classes and music classes, and then they traveled the world, and they had all these experiences. So it wasn't necessarily like they were just on track to go get a job. And it's those folks who were not happy with the ups and downs, the ebbs and the flows of life, and having fulfillment amongst no matter what was going on. So that 20%, they were able to live a bit more expansively in my mind and to be fulfilled no matter what they were doing, and even if it was the second spouse or the second house. And it reminded me of Hafiz, who's the Persian mystic and poet. He says, an awake heart is like a sky that pours light. Yeah. So no matter what the situation, no matter what their health condition, no matter what their bank account, their retirement that they were building up to, no matter what relationships were in their life, they could have a sense of fulfillment. They're the ones who were having that fulfillment because, like the sky, that awakened heart was pouring forth its light and its love. And so I think real success is experiencing the love that we are. We get to be in that loving oneness and as that loving oneness. And it's really the one thing that we're born to do, is to love. It's that verb, and we're born to do that in a healthy and conscious and compassionate and harmonious and delightful and peace-filled and joyful and tree-hugging kind of way, just that, to have that embrace. And it's the one thing that we are built to do. And if we search too much for it, or if we think that there's some form of it out there, rather than looking inside and realizing that it's already here, it's already what we're made of. We're made of that universal essence. It's that awesomeness of the universe that is us. Wouldn't that be a neat affirmation? It's like, hey, call me in the morning. Take an affirmation, call me in the morning. I experience the awesomeness of the universe. You want to say that with me? I experience the awesomeness of the universe. And a friend of mine had bought a house that was not so awesome. And he was experiencing the awesomeness of the universe because it gave him a chance to really dig inside of those walls. What he found out was that at the core of some of the walls of this house that he purchased, there was some mold. And no matter what he would do, he had to take some of that Kills, don't you love the name of that? Had to take some of that Kills stuff instead of you can't just paint over it. You can't just, have it linger. You have to dig to the inside of the core, so that stuff just doesn't seep through and interrupt our health. And so no matter what he did with this one house, he finally ended up selling it. But no matter what he ended up doing he just couldn't paint over it. He painted enough primer on it so that he could live with it for a while, but he realized that he needed to dig deep to dig deep within and to get it remedied before he was able to pass it on to someone else. And then he moved on to his greater place. But if we look at those areas in our life where we can't just, paint over, or we have maybe a feeling of not enoughness, or whatever that lack or limitation or that scarcity might feel, whether it's an area in our health, whether it's an area that's showing up in the way that we do business, in the way that shows up in maybe conversation. We can't just have that seep out without looking within. And so we know that we're well equipped to look to the inside of that core and to know that, yes, we have a strong foundation of love, because that's what we're built to do. We're built to experience that love at the very depth and the very core of our being. And it reminds me, too, of Kabir, who's this mystic. We're hanging out with the mystics this morning. This mystic poet, and he had some experiences in Hinduism and also in Islam, and he brought that, his faithfulness from those faith traditions through his poetry. So if we're looking outside of ourselves for something to show up, what we get to do is to look within and know that there is that divine love and that divine essence of who we are. And Kabir, who talks about, I burst into laughter whenever I hear that the fish is thirsty in water. Without the knowledge of self with a capital S, people just wander. Like the musk deer, unaware of the scent in his navel that goes running forest to forest. And what that's referring to is that in the Himalayas, there's a musk. You kind of get that over the counter over here at Cottonwood Mall. But there's that, I don't, but maybe someone does, that's in his belly, that's a scent. And he goes chasing his own scent because it's so alluring, he doesn't realize that it's already there. It's already there, but he goes seeking forest to forest. And so the thing that's driving this deer wild, it's closer than he thinks. It's there, right there in his belly, his own scent being so alluring that when the stag smells it, he goes wild to go find the source. And so he goes from forest to forest, and he's not realizing that it's coming from his own self. And it's closer than his breath. It's deeper than those walls. So we think that something maybe outside of us might be alluring, or it might be a problem. And it's not out there. It's in here. It's within us. And sometimes we have a deep sense that something is missing, or that something is not well, or something is wrong. It might be, we need another book, we need another teacher, we need another path, we need another place. We're not good enough. We are separate from our source. We're separate from our enoughness. We're feeling a sense of separation. And then we go seeking outside for something else. And it's like that song. I remember seeing Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat, which is real appropriate for this season because it's a metaphor for the journey of rising up in our lives and having some new beliefs. And it was actually Donny Osmond who was the singer in Los Angeles. And you can imagine him in this Technicolor Dreamcoat. And it's a parable on how we all have different colors, and we can look inside. And we can also take off that coat and don on something new. And there's the song that any dream will do. And so in essence, any pathway or any faith tradition, Kabir tried different faith traditions and sort of had a synthesis of that. So did Dr. Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of the Science of Mind and Spirit philosophy, which is a guide for spiritual living. Any path will do, and any dream will do. And if we just stop and look. So, and we can have those profound moments as we stop and as we look inside and experience that presence and that power that is within us. And we can lean into whatever that longing is or that yearning is, going from forest to forest, like that deer. So, and there's really not something that's moldy about our lives. There's not something missing. There's not something wrong. There's only that which is the goodness or the godness of who we are. It's our Godness. It's that stuff. It's that spiritual essence, that source, that energy, the Godness or the goodness that is we're having a reunion with in our life, that we're in unification with, that we're connected with all the time. And at this reunion, it reminded me of what, there's a gentleman from Walt Disney, and then he was also doing some films from National Geographic. Can you imagine what a great job that would be, is traveling around and filming, all kinds of stuff around the world? Wouldn't that be a fun job? His name's Adam Lipsig, and he discovered, and today we're talking about self-discovery, he says that, remember that happier 20% that I was chatting about? That happier place, Disney, I guess, is one of those happiest places on earth. Or High Desert Center is one of the happiest places on earth. Yeah. Well, Adam Lipsig says that the happier, that 20% or more, and more people in this room, those people know what their life's purpose is. They've done enough self-discovery inside the wall, or not seeking outside in the forest, but looking in what is alluring that comes from within, that they know their life purpose, and it's based on 5 things. They know who they are, what they do, and who they do things for, and what those people that they do things for want or need. And number 5, this is the juicy part, what those people that they do things for receive out of it. What has changed as a result? And what's interesting is the first 2 questions are an internal question about self-discovery. And the last 3 are involving our expression, our expansion, and our nature and our givingness in other people. And does it sound hard? No. Go like this. No. It's so simple. And I'm going to ask you these questions. Would you like to reaffirm your life purpose right here before you leave today? Yeah. Yeah. And the first question's real easy. I'm going to ask you to say your name out loud, who you are. And I'm on the count to 5. Everyone know their name? Yeah? I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're all just going to say your name. So the question is, and there's tons of books and tons of websites about self-discovery and our life's purpose and all that. Well, we're just going to be it. We're just going to do that right here now. You ready? Yes? This is the invitation. Okay. So who are you? And go ahead and on the count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and say your name. Reverend Darlene. Okay. And what do you do? Now, you might want to do something like, I write, I cook. It's what do I love to do? I write, I cook, I create. I'm the best wife. I'm the best grandparent. I love to do numbers. I love to listen to music. I love to teach. I help with adult literacy. I do video for my work. Whatever that is that really lights our fire. What is the one thing that I feel supremely qualified that I could teach someone else? What is it that I do that I love, or that I feel really good when I do it? So now, what do you love to do? This is question number 2. We're already ahead. We answered the first question, right? Okay, so we know who we are. And number 2 is, what do you love to do? And it can just be 1 or 2 words. And so what is the one thing that I feel supremely qualified to teach or to be? What is the one thing that I love to do? And so you can think about that. And so 1 word on the count of 5. You ready? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Love. I'm getting the answer that some of the other folks are doing that too. Cool. I like that. I like the resonance in the room. Now, think about who you do that for, whether you write or you cook. I don't cook, so I pour salad. But think about who you do that for, and you can picture those people in your mind and your heart. Picture who you do that for. That's right. Yeah. So in 2 words, who do you do that for? So you ready? On the count of 5. Who do you do that for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everyone. Yes. Good. And there's no wrong answers. That's a good part. And then what do those people want and need? Just in 1 or 2 words. So they come to you, and what do you give them? What do they want or need? What do you give them? What's your gift? So in just 1 or 2 words, what do those people want or need? Okay, you ready? On the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Okay. And then the last question, see, we're already four into it, is how do they change as a result of my giving? How do those people change as a result of what I give to them? How do those people transform? How do they light up, or whatever that is? How do they change or transform as a result of what I do for them? And then we'll put this all together. Okay, you ready? Yep. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Empower. Yes. How do they change or transform as a result of what I give to them? This is the juicy one. Let's do that again. Ready? How do those people that I've been of service to, something that I've fulfilled a want or a need, how do those people transform? How do they change? Okay, on the count of 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, good. Great job. Great. Fantastic. So let's put it all together. Number 1 is, who are you? Who you are. And what do you do? And who do you do it for? And what is the want or need that is being fulfilled? And then how do they change as a result? So congratulations on that number 5 is that we've just done something that those folks at my college reunion didn't do. 80% of them hadn't done in defining whatever that purposefulness was, whatever that vision was. I think it's great, and you're welcome to give yourselves a hand or at least pat yourself on the back. Yeah. Now, how come this recipe is so powerful? How come it's powerful to know about our life's purpose and to have that sense of self-discovery of what's inside? Those 3 questions at the end, they're all about other people. Because we're part of something larger. The happier people at the reunion were outward facing, and they were facing outward with something that was within them. Something that's that essential presence and power, that essential love, because they were here to love and bring that awesomeness of the universe to where they are. And we can all imagine situations where we're bringing that awesomeness of who we are to others in our lives. There's that awesomeness that we bring to the world. And happier people view their lives, it's very clear that there's that view of bringing that awesomeness and then facing outward. Having that awesomeness well up. And that fulfillment, that success, that feeling of whatever that focus is on, there's that sense of happiness and satisfaction. Gratisfaction, as we've called it here before. Since you did so well with that exercise, how about some extra credit? You ready? A little extra credit? Okay. So, when you're out at that reunion, or you're at the family brunch that's coming up in the spring, or you're going to school, dropping off the grandkids or whatever, and someone reaches out their hand and they say, well, what do you do? And they're just trying to make conversation and identify the commonalities or whatever that is. So what do you do? And how do you answer that question? Well, if you take number 5 about how I touch and inspire lives, or how I'm moved to help with adult literacy so that then they can read and have the richness of their life unfold in new ways. If you take that number 5 step, It's the very last thing in those list of fives is how do things change? What's the movement? What's that spiritual movement in that? What depth am I bringing to the world? And so that's that outward facing purpose. And it could be that I had a friend of mine who wrote children's books, and her number 5 was, I give kids awesome dreams. And it could be that, her purpose, her life's purpose was writing children's books. But she had a reason why she wrote books, is because she gave kids a new imagination. She gave them even more creativity, even more flow and different pictures like Disney would do. What if you were like a personal shopper? Wouldn't that be kind of fun? Be a personal shopper. I help people look and feel their best, whatever that might be. It could be we have some human resource folks, and they bring out the best in people so that they can get their intentional work out and have people thrive in business. And so that person who works in human resources says, I do great work, and I inspire people to do their great work and to make their best choices in their life's work, whatever that is. We have practitioners here, and they could say, I facilitate spiritual development, and I offer tools for spiritual growth and make a positive difference. So when you're talking with that person who says, so what do you do? That's a good opportunity to talk about our life's purpose and our vision that we're being pulled by. And that 5th step about how I'm engaged in that change, how I'm touching, or how that's being transformed. And then it gives them the opportunity to ask how. So my friend who writes the children's books, how do you inspire dreams for kids? How do you give them awesome dreams? Well, let me tell you. I have a friend who draws pictures, and then I write this stuff out, and then we get it to press, and then we get it out there. We tell that story. With the HR person, how do people really get their greatest work into the world? How does that happen? And then you can share your journey of self-discovery and share that journey of being on your life's purpose, about how that transformation is taking place. So it has a whole follow-through. It's like we don't stop halfway in the recipe, and it's delicious. It's not half-baked, it's delicious. And it reminds me of Og Mandino's book, and I was fortunate to meet him years ago. He has a wonderful book. It's called The Greatest Miracle in the World. And everyone here sitting in each of these chairs is the greatest miracle in the world. And sometimes we just forget. And so it's tools like these that we get to remember. And in the book, The Greatest Miracle in the World, he gives us a memorandum from God. And if you YouTube it, or if you go out and Google it, it's this beautiful, lovely, I get goosebumps thinking about it. He says, let me share, and this is God talking to us, that goodness, that godness of who we are. Let me share with you again the secret you heard at birth and forgot. You are my greatest miracle. You are the greatest miracle in the world. Those were the first words you ever heard. And remember then, there's 4 laws, there's some universal principles, there's 4 laws of happiness and success. 1 is to count our blessings. 2 is to proclaim our rarity. Now, we just did that with our life's purpose. We claimed it. We declared it. We proclaimed our unique passions and inspirations and how it moves in the world. And 3, we go another mile. And 4, we use wisely our power of choice. We chose to show up, even an hour early today. Thank you. And there's one more, which we started out with, which fulfills the other 4. It says, one more to fulfill the other 4. Do all things with love, love for yourself, love for all others, and love for me. And it doesn't just say some others, it says love for all others. So let's move into the goodness and the godness with a prayer with Ernest Holmes. We'll start out with him, and to just love God with all our heart right here and now. So Dr. Ernest Holmes says that love is within us. It's not outside those walls. I mean, it is outside those walls, and it starts here, and then we bring that to the other rooms in our house, and then we bring that outside. Love is within us. It cannot be destroyed. It can be ignored, like when we forgot we're the greatest miracle in the world right here and right now. To the extent that we abandon love, we will feel it has abandoned us. Denying love is our only problem. There's only one problem. And embracing it is the only answer. Through the power of love, we can let go of past history and begin again. Love heals, forgives, and makes whole. And as part of the Centers for Spiritual Living, we're part of the global vision. We're part of something larger. And we are envisioning a world that works for everyone and for all creation. So I invite us to be co-creators of our experience right here and right now, and to know that today is the very best day ever, and that we're bringing that essence, that divine power and presence of who we are from within, and it just flows. So let's turn within for a moment of inner celebration and blessing, and knowing that there is this place of the one source and the loving kindness, and that it encompasses all. It is this warm embrace of this moment. And having a deep and profound breath right here. And just allowing and accepting and appreciating the very fullness of this moment. This deep sense of aliveness, knowing that there is the divine nature within everyone and throughout everything. And so coming with a place of harmony and passion and goodwill, there is this place of passion and compassion and this beautiful compass that guides us in this beautiful pathway of life. And life is rising up as this beautiful connection, knowing that, yes, we are a part of something larger. There is that sense of aliveness and living every moment to the fullest, and being in this fullness of this moment of now. And knowing that it shows up as our well-being, it shows up as our peace of mind and heart. And just taking a moment to breathe through our heart, knowing that our minds are divinely guided and part of this divine wisdom, and allowing this divine guidance to be moving ourselves forward in this forward momentum. So it is this love, and being this love, and being fully present in giving this love, and allowing and accepting this beautiful flow, this beautiful life which flows in peace, in joy, in grace. And we let our light shine. We let it out. We let that which is the source energy, we let it shine. And be as brilliant and creative and loving as we ever have been. Knowing that there is the highest and best which is unfolding right here and right now in the fullness of gratitude and full expression. And so I release this word knowing it is creative. It is that power of the universe which carries and moves it forward, being ushered and escorted along the way. And I'm so, so very grateful, deeply grateful. And so be it, and so it is.